Hi, I'm Colby Edwards, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 1 of The Current. Today we're interviewing a special guest and talking about the dynamics of disabilities, so let's get to it.
Hello, my name is Michael Magnanti. Today we will be discussing disabilities and interviewing an individual with a specific disability. However, before our interview, we thought we would discuss what a disability is and correct some misconceptions about those with disabilities. A disability is any condition of the body or mind that makes it more difficult for the person with the condition to do certain activities, as stated by the CDC. The CDC also states that there are many types of disabilities which can affect a person's vision, physical movement, thinking, ability to remember, learning, communication, hearing, mental health, and social relationships. While there are many variations of disabilities, every individual living with a disability learns with a variety of the following misconceptions. A person's disability defines who they are as an individual. Disability is a personal tragedy that deserves our pity. People with disabilities are dependent and always need help. People with disabilities are one-dimensional, meaning they all have the same needs, opinions, or desires. Those with a disability want to associate with each other. And lastly, folks with disabilities cannot lead a full and productive lifestyle. It is important to remember that individuals with disabilities are people's first. Remember, label jars, not people. Oftentimes, the negative attitudes of society and the lack of accessibility within our community is the real tragedy regarding disabilities, not the people who live with one. The misconception that just because a people has a disability means that they are dependent is not completely accurate. There are some disabilities that require a person to be dependent, but then there are others that also allow a person to have as much independence as they want. A person living with a disability may require help on occasion, but a disability does not mean dependency. Society tends to place those with disabilities into one category, assuming folks with disabilities want to associate with one another because they have a disability, or that because an individual has a disability, it means that each has the same needs as the other, when in fact, people with disabilities reflect the same diversity that exists in the rest of society. Those with disabilities are fully capable of participating in community life. On the show today, we have Michael Friant. Michael has cerebral palsy, also known as CP, and in light of March being CP Awareness Month, The Current wanted to ask Michael directly about his experience living with this particular disability. CP, according to the CDC, is a group of disorders that affects a person's ability to move and maintain balance as well as posture. CP is the most common motor disability in childhood. CP affects Michael's speech ability, so when he doesn't have an interpreter with him, he uses his iPad or phone to communicate. In the interest of time, most of Michael's answers have been pre-types. However, there are 3 questions that have not been prepared to demonstrate the way he communicates. Welcome, Michael. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Michael. It's my pleasure. Thank you all for having me. I am a junior here at UNCW studying communication. It has been one hell of a journey these past 4 years, especially with some of the challenges that I faced with CP and just with COVID in general. Looking forward to the next year, though.
Right, so you mentioned that you have some challenges that you face with CP. Do you mind telling us a little bit about those challenges?
Some of the struggles included when I rode the bus for 2 hours each day when I attended Cape Fear Community College, and dealing with people in general.
So what were you hoping to do with your degree after you graduate?
My desire is to continue with my advocacy work, which I am already doing through my social media presence, website, and the Seahawk, the student-run newspaper on campus. My advocacy is twofold. First, since society is ignorant when it comes to disabled people's experience and tend to be informed by the media's portrayal of people with disabilities or their personal experience with a specific disability, I want to be the catalyst for awareness within our depressed community and society at large. Also, as alluded to in the introduction, since society is not structured in a way to allow a person with a disability to have an equitable experience, I want to raise the collective consciousness surrounding this topic. I most effectively accomplish this through sharing my lived experiences. Let's take, for example, my speech impairment. Since I have to rely on a device to communicate most of the time, I tend to view outings such as going out to eat etc. differently than a quote-unquote typical person would. With such a situation, I generally cannot interject a question or reply without typing it out. As a result, I either have to forego eating when I do go out or constantly be typing. However, some restaurants such as Bricks work because there is a waiting time from when you order and when you are served. Again, this is a single-faceted scenario that I have to deal with day in and day out.
Now, in light of the first and fourth misconceptions we mentioned dealing with labeling and stereotyping, what are some of the things that you like to do for fun?
I am a long-distance runner. I have completed countless 5Ks, multiple 10Ks, and have completed 3 half marathons thus far. I might be completing my 4th one in 2 days. I love to participate in high-risk sports such as riding dirt bikes, zip lining, etc. Within the next month or so, I am hoping to go skydiving, which I am super excited for. I also like to go out and enjoy the nightlife and grab a beer or something stronger. On occasion, I will lay on a surfboard with the help of some friends and catch some waves. Above all though, I do enjoy hanging out with friends who are comfortable around me and vice versa, get me, and see me as a diverse person that I am more than people who don't grow over time. I make no apology if that sounds exclusive in a sense. This does not mean that I do not care about other people who I know but are stuck in their narrow view of disability after a while. I still go to things that I don't necessarily feel seen, heard, or valued because it is something I deal with on a daily basis. Secretly I hope something will click for them, and I genuinely care about the people at these events. At the end of the day, I am a human being who craves authentic, genuine friendships just like everyone else. So yeah, I tend to gravitate towards those who best reflect that reality for me.
Okay. You mentioned that you enjoy hanging out with friends. So what tool or tools have you found most useful while building these relationships with people?
One of the best tools I have when it comes to building relationships with people is a whole lot of patience. Due to the media's portrayal of people with disabilities and society's narrow perceptions, I have conditioned myself not to take things personal. However, it does not mean I don't get frustrated with people's slow ability to come around and see it from my perspective. I will just be brutally honest and say that I have screwed up at times while dealing with people. In those cases, I wasn't the most diplomatic person.
So what is one thing that you wish people knew about CP?
I wish I could live an hour in my shoes and experience all the little things that come with living with CP in terms of dealing with people and society at large. While these things are not earth-shattering per se, it's emotionally draining to be constantly dealing with things with no time to release the built-up stress. This is one of the reasons why I gravitate towards the same people. Also, typical individuals do not realize how much entitlement and presumption they have when interacting with people or just going about their lives.
Okay, so you mentioned entitlement that people have. When you say that, what exactly do you mean by that?
For example, when a typical person meets someone, they don't necessarily have to overcome all the stereotypes that a person with a disability has to overcome.
So lastly, what I have for you is, what inspires you to keep going?
honestly just hope that society at large will start to shift their opinions about people with disabilities and those moments with friends where I do feel seen, heard, and valued.
Great. Well, thank you, Michael, for sharing your experiences with us today. I know I've enjoyed hearing about what you've planned after graduation as well, and learning more about disabilities, specifically CP. That wraps up today's interview. Next, we have Nick Friant with Wave Watch, giving you more information and fun ways you can get involved within the community.
I'm Nick Friant, and welcome to Wave Watch. What a great interview from Michael Friant. In Wilmington, there are a lot of different clubs and organizations that those with disabilities can get involved with. Miracle League is an organization that the Wilmington community that gives those with disabilities the opportunity to be a part of a baseball or softball league. Their season is coming up, so be sure to check it out as well and see you on the field. Lastly, there are 80% of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities unemployed throughout the U.S. However, Biddy and Bo's Coffee Shop in Wilmington is on track to change that. With a mission to employ these individuals, Biddy and Bo's is paving the way for a change. Be sure to check them out as well. That's all for Wave Watch. Catch you on the waves.
That's our show. My name is Colby Edwards. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time for an expose on a backyard startup.
I saw you look at me. I was like, ah. Okay.